I had an amazing chat with Caroline Jadinsky from Jazeera Media, and it was all about how to get your story into the media. So if you are looking to get your story into the media, definitely check this out. And my biggest takeaway was how important it is to really understand your audience and how everything really just stems from that. So check it out, and also check out the full video.
One thing is knowing your audience. And so because I've worked for local, national, and international agencies, every audience is different. If you want your network to stand out, or if you want your story on your network's platform to stand out, it has to have something different from the competition. So if we're going to focus on Toronto, let's say, the people watching that program are living and working in Toronto, and they want to know what's happening in their city that they don't already know about. Because we could create stories that were long, or we could create stories that were short, depending on what the topic was. So let's say if it was a lifestyle piece and we had a great chef come in and we were going to do a cooking segment with them, we knew that that could be really long because cooking is so much fun and it's colorful and exciting. And it's really easy to have a conversation with your interview subject as you're doing something together. We were doing a story with the Raptors, it was the same thing. I mean, oftentimes the hook for a story, when you work in television as long as I have, is really easy to pick out. You know what people are interested in. I think the other side of that lens is knowing how to pitch to media. And oftentimes that's where we get pitches where it's missed the boat on what's interesting. You have to really know your audience. And you have to know there are so many programs, there's so many podcasts, radio shows, social media channels now. There is no end to a platform that will take your story. Someone is interested in what you have to say. You just have to know where to look. And so you have to do your research. You have to know, what does a local news program look to? How many stories do they want that are breaking news? How many do they want to be features? How many are investigative pieces? So you have to do your research before you pitch your story to a network or to a program or to a show. You need to tell me who your characters are, who's available for an interview, who's available to be interviewed on camera or off camera. Because if you have people that are willing to talk, but they don't want to be on camera, then you don't want to pitch that to a television station, right? Then that's something you're going to pitch to a print outlet. If you have any B-roll that's been shot or any type of material, anything that's been promotional that we can use in our segment, that's also really helpful. And if there's been any other coverage that's done on you already, that's important to share as well. What I do even now when I'm writing my headlines for some of my assignments is I go and I see what other outlets are using just to kind of generate some ideas, do some brainstorming. You are also limited now by character limits, which makes writing a headline even more challenging. I guess in newspapers, you've always been limited with a character limit with how much space there was on a page, but that is often what I struggle with, is to make sure that what I want to say is said in as few words as possible so that it appears on the screen and isn't messy. So there's a whole lot more that goes into writing a headline than just what words you're using. And I think I'm always considering that as well. So right now, if I'm using my job at Al Jazeera as a senior producer as an example, we want our stories to have something different compared to what any of the competition has, whether that's an extra voice, which is an extra interview. Maybe we have some exclusive footage, or we have access to an area that other people haven't been given access to. That makes us stand out and that makes us different.